What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? He wrote in my yearbook, when I was 6 years old, I went into a cornfield. I didn't realize it was a maze. I was stuck for several days without food or water. When they found me, the doctors said I'd never be the same. Good luck in college. Stole a car, crashed it, lost both his legs at 17. A few years later he did it again, but this time he stabbed one of the Good Samaritans who tried to help him, and shot at another one. He then led the police on an 8-hour manhunt through tropical jungle by detaching his prosthetics and hiding under the leaves and mud, and using a makeshift raft to escape downriver under the cover of nightfall. The newspaper the next day read, "Armed and legless." Oh man, where to start? Jerked off under the table during history, often, threatened me with a knife while I was on a walk with a friend. Threatened to hire someone to fight me. I remember he regularly pissed off every kid in school, and I don't know how many times I have to save him from getting beat up. I almost want to say that he deserved every ass kicking that he almost got. Another kid seemed fully convinced that he was a Time Lord from Doctor Who. Same kid was the kid that hisses at other people. It's 4 a.m. and I can't remember a lot of them, but those were some big ones that stood out. I had an autistic friend, and he was afraid of a particular twin. He was minding his own business in the corridors, and each twin was walking towards each other at different ends of the corridor, with him in between. Frightened, he did what no one would expect, jump out the window. He was on the 3rd floor. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt that bad. When my teacher asked him why he did that, he said my life was under grave danger, and I only did what was imperative to be done. To this day, I don't know why he was afraid of them. She barked at people and tried to scratch behind her ears with her foot and sniffed people's butts at recess. She was 14. Oh my god, you had a dog, girl? We had a cat, girl. She would wear all black and had cat ears, cat gloves, cat collar, and even a fucking cat tail, and she would walk around the hallways meowing at people. If she didn't like you for whatever reason, because she never actually spoke to anyone, she would hiss at you and swat at you until you left, but sometimes she would fucking chase you. She had 2 friends if I recall correctly, and she would nuzzle into them and purr. She was the only person who acted like this, and she was that way my entire high school years, albeit a year younger than me. And I'm pretty sure she was in the special ed classes. I graduated in 2018, and I often wonder where she is now and if she's still meowing at strangers. Edit, I can't believe my most upvoted comment is about a cat girl. Edit 2, I am pretty sure I found her, just judging from my facial memory here, and she has a newborn as of this year. No cat ears on either of them. Which is good, I guess. Guy in JR. Hi had an unsightly amount of earwax and was obsessed with James Bond, who he claimed to be his uncle. He would loudly proclaim that James Bond will kick your ass to anyone who questioned his affiliation with James Bond, made fun of James Bond in any fashion or denounced James Bond's skills. He would literally get into fistfights to protect the honor of James Bond. There was also a girl in my elementary school who never wore shoes and was known for her impressive farting skills. I'll never forget the day when our class was sitting on the library floor during a lecture by the librarian how to handle/read/fold a newspaper. The 90s were weird. It could not have been more boring when all of a sudden out of nowhere the girl unleashed a massive fart that kept going, and kept getting louder and louder to the point that the entire class was in full-blown hysterics while the fart continued to rage on. The hero we needed that day. Legend. After one of my female friends rejected his advances, he proceeded to jump off of his roof, twice, and broke both of his arms. Second thing, he made a wooden weed pipe in wood shop and then tried to smoke out of it in class. Another weird kid, who I might mention probably had a cognitive disability, so I don't want to be mean, hid under a bridge in town and drank multiple bottles of Pepto-Bismol, and then went to school acting like he was drunk. He attempted to get people to drink some with him, and then went back to the bridge and tried to light stuff on fire until the police arrived. Another one, a true Looney Tune of a guy, shortly after high school was caught with a large amount of guns in his trunk, rifles, pistols, and all that, and went to prison/jail over a multitude of crimes. Don't even think he was in a gang, just pure insanity drove him to do insane things. So, there was a guy at our school when I was a freshman that everyone called Wolfman, who was weird in all the bad ways. He claimed to have superpowers, teleportation, DBZ-like energy creation and whatnot. All the girls said he just stare at them if they had class with him. He hung around us freshmen and did his best to flirt with the girls. For an example of his flirting, he once told a girl that while astral projecting, he saw her face on Jupiter. Needless to say, girls stayed away from him. He graduated though, and his brother started at the school. Now, Wolfman wasn't a tall guy by any stretch of the imagination, maybe 5 feet at most, but his brother was a good foot shorter than him. He looked like he belonged in 3rd grade, he never got any taller. It didn't help that he always wore a child's Goosebumps jacket, that made people start calling him Goosebumps. He was even more convinced of his powers than his brother, but at least he was less sexually creepy, but that's all he had going for him. One memorable day I was in math class, and he started shaking violently. People ignored him, so he started flapping his arms around. Wondering if this was an actual seizure, the girl next to him put her hand on him and asked if he's okay. He growled back, "Take your hand off me, this power is too much to contain." She started yelling at him for faking a seizure and he went back to normal death stare forward, grumbling about his powers.